This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. We're continuing in Mishnah Berurah. Daf Hashur, we're learning Siman Pei Gimel. We're middle of Sif Daled. The Mechaber said we're up to Sif Hey. Siman Pei Gimel, Sif Hey. Bnei Adam sheish lahem safsal nakov. People who have a bench with a hole in it. V'nifnin sham. V'nifnin alav. And they defecate on it. Basically, it seems like an ancient toilet. There's a bench, there's a hole in it, and they defecate. They're mutter likros kirshma kenegda. You could say shma opposite. Kivan she'ena tsoya ala nekev. There's no tsoya on the hole. V'gam ein hagrav tachas hanekev. And the pit which holds the tsoya is not under the hole. V'oid she'hanekev tamin mechusa b'daf. The nekev is always covered with the board. So this is very interesting because doesn't sound like it's any more clean or hygienic than our modern day toilets, but here are the factors. There's a hole in a bench, and the tsoya is not on the hole, and the dirt is not under the hole, and it's always covered, so then it's okay. Says the Rama, anyone who reads in a place that you don't ordinarily in a place that you're not allowed to read, has to go back and say that tefillah again. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Kriya Shema Kenegdai, Svirale. This opinion holds. Who is this opinion? The Mordechai. The Ein Loi Din Beis Hakisei Yashan. That it does not have a din of a Beis Hakisei Yashan. He holds it does not have a din of an old Beis Hakisei. The Kaimalan, the Asr Lefan of Kamlai Einav, that we hold that it's Asr as long as you could see. Afilu Pinu Mimeno Atzaya. Even if you clear the Tzaya, we know that in old Beis Hakisei, you're not allowed to say Shema in Aishat. So then why in the world, in this case, would you be allowed to say Shema opposite the Beis Hakisei? Elarak din bayis shehizminai lebeis Hakisei. This is like a house that's been designated as a Beis Hakisei. Hamavar b'sif Beis kivan she'ena lav tsoya me'olam. We said in Sif Beis that if you are mazmin something, you're allowed to say opposite it. This, even though you did more than mazmin it, you actually use it as a bathroom. But nevertheless, it's not any worse than designating it. Why? There was never tsoya on it. The graph does not stand beneath it, only when needed. Now I don't know what that means when the Mechaber says that Ein hagraf tachas hanekev. Where does it go? Well, it's a hole and it goes to China? I mean, where's it going? Going to Taiwan? South Korea or North Korea?
It's portable. You put a bowl underneath it and let the air clear it.
The Mechaber doesn't say it's portable. Let's see the Bir Halacha. Ein hagraf tachas hanekev, ve'im hagraf tachas hanekev, if the excrement is under the hole, v'koshikein kishat tsoya munach ala karka, or when the tsoya is on the ground, tachas hasafsol, l'kol yalma dina k'beis hakisei v'asar lefanav k'mlai einav u'la'achrav daled amos mimakim shekala hareach ra. So it's some kind of chair that's just used to prop a person up when he goes to the bathroom. So let's say you're in a hospital room and there's some kind of chair that holds somebody up, which they have. They have these devices where somebody sits on it, and maybe it even has a roller or a walker, and they take it till the toilet, and they do what they have to do, and then they come out. That shear alone never has a din of a Beis Hakisei. Basically, all it is some kind of tool to facilitate somebody going to the bathroom. So this is no worse than a Beis Hakisei that was never used, but was only huzman. This is the din of the Mechaber. Says Mishnah Berurah, Aval harbe achronim cholkim alav. Many achronim argue on this din. Usfirul, who they hold, diyesh loy din Beis Hakisei yashan, that it has a din of an old Beis Hakisei, kivan shenifnin alav, since they defecate on it. V'al came therefore, tzarch lizar, you have to be careful, kisharoitza likrois kriya shema, ula hispalel, ula daber eza divrei kedusha, therefore you have to be careful, when you want to say shema, when you want to daven, or when you want to say words of kedusha, sheyoitzi hakisei me'abayis. You have to take this chair out of the house, or I guess out of the room. So this is a psak of the Taz, the Magen Avram, the Eliyah Rabbah, that Lamaisi need to be machmer, Shulchan Aruch Harav der Chaim and the Chai Adam. Oishi Amidim Alachav Dar Amos, or put it behind you for Amos. So basically, what would the halacha be of a potty? You know, that a kid sits on, goes to the bathroom. L'chayra, that's much worse than this. Because there, the tzaya does sit in it until you clean it out. So that l'chayra, everybody would agree that even if it's currently clean, it's more than huzman. I don't think they use it for kids nowadays. But back in the day, in America they don't really use it. Back in the day it was pretty popular, because basically what it is, it's like for a cat. You have to clean it afterwards. Who wants to clean it afterwards? So now they have the special seat for the kid. But that would be an afkamina. Let's say a seat for a kid. Let's say a seat for a kid. You know, the thing that this way the kid doesn't fall in and go to China. So that, are you allowed to daven in front of it? According to Mechaber, yes. According to most Achroinim, no. You could make the argument that even the Mechaber would say that it's not okay, because you're dealing with a kid, and as we saw before, the kids, their aim, they haven't really perfected the art. So, l'chayra, you could argue that even according to Mechaber, it would be a problem. So you're in a room, you're in a side room, and there's just a seat there, and somebody just cleaned it, they Windexed it, and it's spackling clean. You still should not daven opposite it. It would have a din, l'chayra, of what these achronim are saying. Okay. Or cover it entirely, even if it's clean. Even if it's clean and doesn't smell, and the excrement is not under it, and the nekev is covered, nevertheless, the item itself is problematic according to most achronim. Okay, this is what we were talking about. Therefore, you should also be careful, those houses that have small chairs with a hole for kids. L'chayr, again, that's worse, because it sounds like the tzaya would collect there, or I'm not exactly sure whether that's the case, what they had back in the day, or take it out of the room. Especially because the kid are going to get the chair filthy. Even the Mechaber would say it's a problem. The Dirshu says, "Ul'inyan kisei tinoikos shemachnisim by seir lasoi srachav she'em by ka'es seir." Hayru hachazaynish agon risham zam sheyesh lahakal bazeh. What is a seir?
A chamber pot.
So the kid has a chair, and then you put a pot under it. Rav Sham Zalman and Rav Chazanish say you could be mekel. Mekel with what? This pot?
The chair.
Okay.
How's it different than what the Mishnah was talking about?
I don't know. L'chayra, the Mishnah Berurah would say, if you have a chair with a hole in it, it's a problem. I don't know why they're mekel. I don't really get their metzias, but the Mishnah Berurah seems to be. The Mishnah Berurah says clearly that a chair for a kid is a problem, and perhaps it's a problem l'kulei alma. I don't know what their metzias they're speaking about is. Okay. Kasav derech hachayim le'inyan safsol nakov. The Derech HaChaim writes that a sapsol that has a hole in it, the ima sapsol miyuchad liyeshiva, that if the sapsel is designated for sitting, Hakisei shemiyachtem liyeshiva, like a chair that's designated for sitting. Umechusa bekar, and it's covered with a pillow. And when the time comes, you take off the pillow, so basically it's either a recliner or a bathroom. Very convenient. It could be a couch or it could be a bathroom. You could be lenient and learn and daven opposite it when it's covered with the pillow, even if it's not covered with anything else. The Eino Lav Shem Beis Hakisei, it's not considered a Beis Hakisei. Ayin Sham Tam, I look over there for the reason. V'ayin beber halacha mashu kasavnu oid bezeh. Chayzer v'koyrei ayin beber halacha. Okay, let's just see a few things here. The bir halacha, divrei hamascha ein hagraf tachas hanekev, has a shaila that if there is graph under the temporary chair, maybe the whole room has a din of a Beis Hakisei, and you can't even learn behind you in the whole room, even if it's very big. That's what tzad the bir halacha has. And then the bir halacha ends that he's very unhappy that in the house of Kalei Hadas they have a room designated to defecate in. The excrement is under the bowl. The whole room smells, and they keep their svarim there. Says the bir halacha, I consider this is called Kidvar Hashem Baza, which is interesting. That usually Dvar Hashem Baza is if you learn there, but to keep svarim there, is it mamish and isser dairaisa? He quotes the Gra, the Dirshu quotes the Gra, the Shulchan Aruch Harav, that the punishment is kares. I don't know if it's if they're really applying it correctly, that the punishment is kares for learning Dvar Kedusha, but not for keeping svarim. Would you say ki Dvar Hashem Baza? There's an einish of kares if somebody keeps svarim in a bathroom. There's an einish of kares. And then he says ushakle lemetarpese, that their kid goes off the derech rachmana litzlan. Because we say kol hamechalel es haTorah gufay mechul ala briyos, which is interesting. It does sound like he's saying that the Isser of Kidvar Hashem Baza applies not only for Dvar Shabbat but even for keeping Svarim there. Then in the next Bir Halacha, he says that anyone who reads, anytime you have to repeat, anyone who davens or learns in a place that you're not allowed to, you have to do it again. So he quotes Chidush Rabbi Eger that Legabe Meir Aglaim, since it's midrabanan b'diavad, you don't have to go back. But other achrayim, the Shulchan Shloimeh, the Shulchan Aruch Harav, are not mashma like that. The Dirshu says the Mishnah Berurah himself did paskin that way. In Siman Ayin Vav, Sif Lamed Gimel, Sifkat Lamed Gimel, he says, Meir Aglayim, Afilu Mitzan B'makam Shorei L'stapik Ein Tzarich Lachzor V'likrois. That's if you didn't know. But if you knew, the Mishnah Berurah says, and you were avar v'kara, tzarich lachzor v'likrois u'espalel, the avar al vaday d'Rabbanan. So it's a shtickle stira, because here he's bringing Rabbi Kiva Eger. Rabbi Kiva Eger says that kol mi shekari b'makom she'en karin chayzer b'kairei, does not apply to Meiraglayim. And why? Because it's only a Sidrabanan. And earlier on, the Mishnah Berurah says, no, you do have to go back by a Drabanan. That's the Shita of the Pri Megadim. The Avar al Vadai Drabanan. This is a very interesting machlokes. Whether you have to go back and do something again if you're over on a Vadai Drabanan. Uvedivrei Magen Avram le'el b'seif Siman Ayin Vav gam kein ein kol kach raya the kavanasei al ma shekazav shulchan aruch b'matzam b'makom she'roya lehistapek aval loy b'sheyeda metchila. Well, I think the Bir Halacha is trying to answer this question. Maybe you'll say the Magen Avram, who says earlier that you don't have to go back if they're meiraglayim. Does that show that? Does that show that by a Drabanan you don't have to go back? Maybe not. Maybe not. Why? Because there it's somebody should have been mistapek whether there's meiraglayim. But if you knew originally, maybe you do have to go back. So, in other words, it sounds like the Bir Halacha is answering the question. There's no stira. In other words, whenever you're not allowed to daven there because you should have been masupik, says Rabbi Kiva Eger, you don't have to go back. Masha'inkin, if you knew for sure it was there, then maybe you do have to go back because you're over on a Vadai D'Rabbanan. Okay, Rabbi Sai, have a great day. Kol Tov. What about keeping the yatet in the bathroom?
Out the bathroom, you mean? In or out? That's a question.
You want to know if you're allowed to read it ever? If you're not learning, because you're not, are you allowed to keep it in the bathroom? You want to know, it has divrei Torah, but you're reading the news that they make up. So, you want to know, are you allowed to read the news that they make up if they're also divrei Torah in it? We have to look into that.
Torah now. Have you read the Gedolim stories, biographies of the Gedolim? So it has stories in it that may or may not have happened, but it also has divrei Torah that they say.
So you're not allowed to keep it in the bathroom?
Presumably.
Okay, we have to look into that. Hatzlach, everyone. Have a good day. Kol Tov. Kol Tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.